So, I want to talk about something that is very disturbing. And what it is that right now we're all being kept alive because there are people that are living what you might call a shopping life. They're just shopping and they go to school, of course, because they have to get their education and then they shop. you know, Skyscraping occupations, people that work in offices, all they do is they sit down, they type, they push buttons, they email, they answer phones, and that's it. And they get six-figure salaries to half a mil to $1 million. Most skyscraping occupations that are professional and degreed pretty much are the consumers and the shoppers of our world. Believe it or not, it's people that work hard that are the ones living beneath the means of life. So take for instance someone who works at a restaurant. Even though they get good tips, most oftentimes they live in middle income bracket of community or low income, and they drive an economic car, they catch the bus. They wear clothes from little malls here and there, no special wardrobe. They pretty much probably can't afford to do much, and most of their work hours are between 6, 8, and 10 hours, sometimes double shifts back to back. They have yellow eyes because they had to wake up to an alarm clock and they didn't have any guarantee of what their work shift would be like. One of the reasons why we have yellow eyes is because when we work, we are surprised by what we're doing in our day, whereas a skyscraping occupation does the same thing every day. So they don't necessarily, even if they have to wake up at, let's say, 7 o'clock every morning, when they go to their job, they know that they're going to eat lunch at 11 o'clock. They know that they're going to push a button at 10 o'clock. They know that they're going to answer a phone at, 4 o'clock. Like most people are not stressed out because they know everything that's going to happen, and then outside of meetings, they really don't do anything but travel. Anyone who works in an office is not producing a tangible product for humanity and should not be the main consumers of those products. Because if you don't produce something, you shouldn't have the liberty to purchase it. I am always producing a tangible product for humanity in distributive manner, but nonetheless, I'm standing on my legs 8 hours a day for the whole decade. For the whole decade, I've worked for FDA, and I don't have any resources. I don't get a chance to shop. I don't even have a proper wig or makeup to. I don't even have healing products, for the replenishment of the body that's used incorrectly. Whereas someone who works in the office, they've had 10 vacations in the past 10 years. They've purchased new wardrobe. They've bought a new house. They have two new cars. All this stuff has happened to people that work in offices, and I'm not even been able to brush my teeth on a regular basis. Give or take that, I get home and I'm tired. I don't have the ability to whiten my teeth. And people look down on me because they're like, something's wrong with you, bitch. I'm like, but it's so imbalanced because if I'm producing a tangible product and I'm standing on my legs 8 hours a day, I should be able to afford tangible products. If you're producing a mental product, how can you produce a mental product and buy every tangible product on the market? Three cars, a villa in Spain. You got a beach house, on the beach. You got, your own home. You bought your kids a car for Christmas. You bought your wife a new diamond ring. You start a new business on the side. All the stuff that they get to do with their six-figure salary or their, and nowadays six figure is really $1 million. So now people are getting paid $1 million. Just to sit in the office, push buttons, answer a phone, and send some emails and do some text. And with all these selfie, talky media tools and all this digital age of millennium, those occupations are knocked out because we don't even need people in skyscrapers no more. I mean, the common man, the common person has more technology than when corporations were put in buildings. Like a long time ago, when the people that own the banks today, when they started their corporations and they first put these big skyscrapers on earth, the people in those buildings had typewriters and phones and they were working, office work. But now we don't even need to leave our house to do some of the stuff that they had to leave their house to do because of the equipment that they were using to do it couldn't be at their house, like, big machines of print, because they didn't have the technology we have today. That's why they had offices back then. But having offices today is very unintelligent because now that we have this we have this digital age in which now the machines are no longer big where you have to take up a whole room of your house, and if it breaks, you'd be responsible for it if your kids got electrocuted by it. I mean, there was a time when in offices, just to do day-to-day basis, they had to have a lot of print, a lot of fax, a lot of copying. Big machines, and all that stuff would be taken out and milled. There was a lot of mill going on. So it was understandable to a certain extent why people had to leave their house. But nowadays, I mean, across the world, people are kind of catching on to it. But anyone getting paid millions of dollars to sit in a building and push buttons, you're going to burn in hell. I don't care what you think about me. I don't give a shit. You are going to go to hell, because that was called broad daylight robbery. Everything has changed. Tangible products, whether you're putting a hanger back on a shelf after a customer has purchased a pair of jogging pants, you're more valuable now than a skyscraping junkie job, because you're doing something that is in the moment. You're producing something right now for the person. And because you're doing that, you are more valuable. And nowadays, even also because of the generation we live in, being paid to think and be intelligent is also obsolete. Because we have a lot of intelligent people, even though the intelligence is incorrect. We have a lot of people that are thought wise, in our generation. So there was a time when a lot of people were not book smart. They were handiwork slaves, and they still are. But now, because of the selfie talkie media tools that we have in the digital age that we're in, a lot of people are contemplating a lot of things, and they're thinking about a lot. Even if it's shabby, everyone's doing some corporation's job. Everyone's a politician. Everyone's a lawyer. Everyone's a judge. Everyone is slightly a police officer. Everyone is really a parent to a certain degree, that we're all contributing some information of education, of knowledge concerning our entire existence when we make these kinds of videos, whether right or wrong, good parent, bad parent. We're all guiding ourselves and other people through direction and our advice or whatever we're doing. So can you imagine still paying people millions of dollars to sit in the office, while people that stand on their legs in retail and FDA and all these other businesses are getting absolutely nothing at all? Something is wrong with society for allowing this to continue. But what I really want to talk about is the fact that King Solomon said something in Ecclesiastes, and this is just so true to me. He said that everything we do on earth is grievous, burdensome, and vanity, emptiness. It's void, and there was no use to do it. So in essence, we're dead, which means this is just death. But he said, but there's only one thing that makes it valuable, and that's it. And the one thing that makes it valuable is the fruits of the labor, which means because of the fact that no one will work, that's what makes this stupid and dumb. But because you can have a house, or because you can have a car, because you can, look in the mirror and you like what you see, just that. He said that's what makes it worth it, which means everyone looking beautiful is why this is acceptable. But if anyone doesn't look good, then they're just dying for other people to have those fruits. So if anyone's held back from a nice apartment, a nice car, having long hair, having clear skin, having a sexy pornographic body, having, fine things to eat and, fine things to wear. If anyone, I don't care, is held back from it, they are just being kept alive like they're in Chateau d'If dungeon. Like they are just like, they're being slain, because it's just grief and sorrow and suffering and pain. Nobody ever just worked to be ugly. Nobody would work to wear dingy clothes, live in poverty. And I'm saying this because I was looking at this video on YouTube of people in Italy. And it's obvious that all they do is go to university and then go sit in a skyscraper. And then after that, they go shopping. That's it. That's all they do. And so white people's, I cannot stand how in all their continents, they have nothing but skyscraping jobs. Like that's the main thing. And of course they have laymen who do, retail and stuff like that. But the main thing is they are skyscraping junkie people. Like they really thought they were going to live forever in skyscrapers. Skyscrapers were supposed to be used for distributive services only and storing stuff, but they are so skyscraping junkie. It's like people that wake up, go sit in a skyscraper, then leave the skyscraper, go out to eat with their family, go shopping, make love, have new children, buy a new house, go sit in a skyscraper, go on vacation, go to their guy's golf tournament, go to their kids' recital, go sit in a skyscraper, go out of it, start a charity project in their community so they have a good name. And all they do is go back and forth between a skyscraper and some miscellaneous activity of outdoor daring activity, outdoor shopping, outdoor charity, outdoor family life. It's just like that's all they're doing, just chilling the whole lifetime through. And in the background is someone like me, just suffering, going through the total opposite, going to an above ground sewer, living in a pay for cave, being domestically abused, being family abandoned, paying, having messed up skin, no hair on my head, scarred from head to toe, the ugliest woman on earth, feeling pain all the time, threatened to be homeless. I mean, it's ridiculous. Being persecuted, being looked down on, decomposing hastily, yellow teeth, yellow eyes, funky breath, hormones changing, suffering all the time, dealing with foolishness, just having all kind of immoral things happen to me. And all the while, a fat, age-spotted, bald-headed person sitting in a skyscraper getting millions of dollars for pushing buttons to make a family, and he's just walking around chilling. And I'm like, this is really corrupt. But I'm saying this because I don't know if I'm saying it right. Solomon said, the only thing good is the fruit of labor. He didn't say fruits, he said fruit of labor. And it's true. Which means he's saying there are two things that's wrong. A person who works not having fruit, and a person who hasn't worked having the fruit. That's all I want to tell you. All the people that's having fruits, but they haven't labored, you're going to burn in hell. Because there were people who never had the fruit and all they did was work like me. Solomon, he didn't say that it's good to have fruits where you've not labored. No, he said the only thing that works out about this is having the fruits of your labor, which means when you wash your face, having it spick and span clean. When you brush your teeth, it's smelling good. He didn't say that if you don't brush your teeth and it smells good, that's good, because there's a mystery about that. Like there's a mystery about having things you haven't worked for on this planet. There is a mystery about that. That's also grievous, because the question is why, if somebody else has to work for it. So the only thing that's good is balance, doing something and having the results of it. Not cheating and stealing and swindling, or not even be robbed or swindled or stolen from. Neither are good. One thing is good, doing something and having the results, which means applying science and getting exactly the reason you applied it. The only thing that's good about this projection is having gotten the results of what you aim to get through applying sciences lawfully and equitably across the borderline to everyone. Anything else is a swindling or being swindled, and it's grievous and sorrowful. When I see people in Italy walking around, when I see anybody who works in a skyscraper living their life, I swear to God, they are smoking hot, ready to go to hell. I mean, it's just like there's a certain kind of person on earth. When you see them walking on the street with their kids, you just know that they're going to hell, because you know that they didn't work for the money. All they did was sit in a skyscraper, push buttons, and now they're consuming 100% of the 24 hours of sunlight, or the 24-hour day periods. Like, they use more of the earth than anybody, and they never produce any of it for anyone. And then there are people like me that spend my whole lifetime working in production, distribution, and tangible goods, and I don't have anything at all, nor am I able to even have the sanctity of appearance to vouch for having the fruits of my labor. I swear to fucking God, I'm not prejudiced, but some people are going to wish they had never, ever purchased a product on this planet without having done some tangible production themselves. It is just so unbearable. Even when I was not working a job, I was living with this guy, and we would go out to, shop. Number one, well, not shop. We would go out to get some things we might have needed. And we'd be in a very cheap store like Ross or Target or TJ Maxx, and he'd be, still buying things that I thought were kind of high priced. Like he'd be getting a $13 pair of pants. I mean, not $13. He'd be getting like a $50, because I know it's not a lot to anyone, but I was raised in 21 years of child poverty. I'm like, I'm looking for $5.99 shirts, and he's buying $50, $100 pants. I'm like, why are we coming here if you're gonna buy the same thing? He's like, it's cheaper here. I'm like, okay, whatever. And he's like, why don't you get 3 of those? I'm like, no, I'm getting one. It's your money. And I mean, I know it sounds totally opposite of a black woman, but I'm like, I'm not working, so why would I, use, your stuff? You're the one working, so you get what you want. But I don't believe that you should get fruits where you've not labored. I believe everyone should do their fair share, and everyone should contribute where they have strength. And someone who doesn't have strength, they are paying the price for the mentality of how to align our comprehension. So even their fruit is to be given freely, like a bottle, to a baby. But this is all, a lot. It's complex, but I'm saying this because every time I see people shopping on this planet, I want them to burn in hell, because y'all do not report why people can shop. I want to know why people have the opportunity to liberally move. Where are they getting their money from? What do they do? What do they contribute? If they sit in a skyscraper and then they shop the rest of their life, and if I stand on my legs 8 hours a day to hand tangible products to people and I can't even buy what I need, I want some answers, because Everybody's going to burn in hell for this lifetime of me suffering. And that's the bottom line.